changeovers, and we're going to see here as we're already underway with the first few strokes, and that New Wave CrossFit team that you mentioned, Neve, in the bottom left-hand side of our picture. Their transitions were on the World Rowing Instagram feed yesterday, were some of the smoothest and slickest that I've seen. And so we'll see there Fraser Brent, who's taking those first few strokes for New Wave CrossFit, hop off and hop on the next member of that team. And did you see there? It was just absolutely flawless, Neve. Those feet went into the shoes, the straps went on, and the first few strokes taken within milliseconds.
Yeah, and already like they changed over after about 100 meters, so looks like they're going to be sticking with that strategy. Of course, like, you know, when you're rowing for such a short distance, if it's just 100 meters, you can get the splits much lower, obviously, because you're not rowing for very long. But the key then is that the changeovers have to match it and have to be quick, because you do not want to lose the time on the changeovers. We'll probably see other teams changing over every 250 meters or so, which obviously they're going to have much less changeovers, less time being lost. But as you said, New Wave CrossFit there, they're just seamless with it, and it's great to see. So we're seeing them on screen here now. A lot of the heavy hitters in this crew. We have an Olympic champion from last year, Roy Gibbs, in the men's 8. We have Elliot Owen, who rowed the Atlantic last year solo. So these guys, you know, they know how to row.
Yeah, but again, you know, we've got the Egyptian Rowing Federation on screen at the moment. We'll come back to New Wave CrossFit in just a second, but I'm always impressed by the group that the Egyptian Rowing Federation get together. They always seem to, whether there is rowing as individuals or rowing in the relays, they have a room full of athletes, coaches there to support. It's consistent year on year that they take part in these World Rowing Indoor Championships. Another great smooth transition there for them. They're currently sat in third position behind New Wave and behind Team Finland. We'll talk about the Finnish quartet in just a second, but as we move now into the women's race, it's Team Finland also leading over on the women's side of the fence as well, but only a short way behind them, 7 meters, the Canadian squad from Golden Horseshoe Rowing. And this here on screen, the rowers relay forward to victory from Ukraine, really pushing on here. Lots of power going through that swing from the athlete on board at the moment, but they've got a little way to catch up here, Neve. It's a long old race. We're not even 1,000 meters through yet, not even a fifth of this race complete. So they've got to be able to pace it somewhat as well through these short sprints.
Absolutely, yeah, it is a long race. You're, as you know, talking between anywhere between 13 minutes for the fastest men's team. Yesterday it was up to over 20 minutes for this team from Ukraine. The rowers relay forward to victory as they are naming themselves, and it's great to see the age difference. So on that team from Ukraine, you've from 18 up to 40 on the team, and that's what, you know, makes indoor rowing so versatile. We have huge age ranges. You know, we had a lovely couple from Australia yesterday. They were both, I think, was it 80 years old, a husband and wife that were racing together. Like, you know, it's great that this sport is so versatile and accessible to so many rowers, and it's great to see them teaming up here now in these teams as well. So Team Finland leading it out in the men's relay here. Of course, we have Joel Nakanarinen, Versa champion from the last 2 years of the World Rowing Indoor Championships. Such a versatile rower, you know, across short distance, long distance. We did expect to see him in the 500 meter race yesterday, but he did not start. Maybe he was saving himself for this race, and looks like it's working, because they're currently leading it out here now.
Yeah, indeed, but only 9 meters behind them, that New Wave CrossFit team that we've got on screen, the very strong Fraser Brent there, just taking the last few strokes of his segment as we move in towards 3,400 meters to go. This whole team looks like they're down at their local New Wave CrossFit gym with an audience as well to boot, so they've got plenty of support backing them for this 13 minutes or so of rowing. Another great smooth transition as we move over towards the Egyptian Rowing Federation, just 33 meters behind the leader, and that means only 15 meters off silver as well. Surprising to see Titans of Piraeus down in fourth position. We talked about how strong the Greeks were earlier. You know, Spiridon Kalensis particularly had a great 500 meters in the men's semi-final, but they are just a few meters off bronze and off the podium as it stands at the moment, but still well over halfway to try and correct that. Back onto the women's side of things, well, we've only got webcam feed here from the team from Ukraine, but they do have two teams ahead of them, and given this performance at the moment, they would have to really turn things around to get themselves onto the podium. But a great race up front as the Canadians have gained another 3 meters here on Team Finland, Neve.
Yeah, this is going to be very close right till the finish here. This crew from Canada, we didn't mention them much. They're currently sitting in second position, just 9 meters behind. We have Sarah Pigeon, a Versa participant, and we see her all the time at the beach sprints as well over the years. Really strong rower. Team Finland there, who are currently leading it out, down at a split of 1:33 currently. Two of those rowers, Ija and Emma, were first last year in the 2,000 meter relay, so well used to this sort of format, but of course they're just going to have to row more this year. So the men now starting to come up towards that halfway mark. It is still Team Finland ahead of New Wave CrossFit. New Wave CrossFit, of course, were over 2 minutes faster than Finland yesterday in the racing yesterday. I think Team Finland probably were saving themselves for this one. They haven't let up the lead here now, just as they pass that halfway mark.
Yeah, indeed. They've burst out of the blocks, Neve. We'll have to see if they can push on and continue this pace. It's all about endurance, remember. But Team Finland, we've mentioned him earlier, one of the world's most versatile athletes as part of this team. Jolna Karinen, not only a Versa champion from the World Rowing Indoor Championships last year, but also a World Rowing Beach Sprints champion, a world record holder on the indoor rowing machine. And we caught up with him in an interview not so long ago. persistence and motivation is exactly what they're going to need to stay ahead here in the gold medal position in the endurance relay. We're now well under halfway to go. We're actually on the crest of seeing three-digit numbers here in the open men's. Just 1,100 metres left to row. They're 45 metres behind. They've slipped back somewhat on Team Finland, and they're going to need all of that encouragement from the 20 or so spectators gathered behind them. But here are Team Egypt, who have also slipped back one position. The Greeks, Neve, have been playing their strategy well and have managed to creep themselves onto the podium.
Yeah, it's been great to see the race happening between Egypt and Greece. They've been going back and forth there while that video was playing. Every time a changeover happens, Egypt Rowing Federation come back on Titans of Piraeus, but things keep changing here. We're now seeing rowers relay forward to a victory of Ukraine here now, still sitting in that third position. So there's three competitors or three teams in the women's. So of course there'll just be first and second awarded to those. And at the moment it is Team Finland still leading it out here. They have 26 metres of a lead over Canada, the Golden Horseshoe Rowing. Team Finland really pushing on here now. They're up at, in the men's, up at 59.60 strokes per minute with a split of 118. So really leading it out. New Wave CrossFit doing all they can, but it's down to, it's 52 metres now between them and Team Finland. Three of the New Wave CrossFit team race last year and finished fourth, so just outside a podium position. That was Reese, Fraser and Elliott. So they're now this year being joined by Rory Gibbs, the Olympic champion, who I think has strengthened the team because they're up sitting in second position here now. But it is Egyptian Rowing Federation now just falling back slightly, about 15 metres now behind Titans of Piraeus. Ali Hassan there of Egypt, we see him across all disciplines: flat water, beach sprints, coastals, indoor rowing, quite like Yolna Karanin, and does really well in all disciplines. And he's one of the members there of the Egyptian Rowing Federation.
Yes, and as we move now into the final few hundred metres left to go here, the medals well within sight of these first few teams. 300 metres or less actually to go here for Team Finland, who will be starting to count those strokes, and a hugely impressive 1:16 splits being pulled here per 500 metres for them. They're up at 65 strokes per minute. That's almost unimaginable. You know, for some context, the rest of the leaders on this board, 55 for New Wave CrossFit, and even in the 40s, you know, that's high for sprinting on these indoor rowing machines. But as we come into the last bit, these changeovers getting quicker and quicker. This will be what New Wave have practiced, just 10 strokes or so each as they try and close down that distance to the leader. But with 50 metres left to go, no one's going to be catching Team Finland now. They cross the line in gold medal position and an average of 1:17.0 for 5 kilometres. That is quite astounding for them. New Wave CrossFit, they'll have enough of a buffer over the teams that we've got here on screen, both the Titans of Piraeus and the Egyptian Rowing Foundation, who we've got there on your picture. But wowee, just looking at those times coming through, a leading time of less than 13 minutes, much faster than the qualifying times that we had here in this endurance relay, and celebrations all round. And just 3 seconds after 5 kilometres, Neve, separating the podium from those who didn't quite make it.
Yeah, this really illustrates how people were holding back a little bit yesterday, I think, because Team Finland there 2.5 minutes quicker today than they were yesterday. Now, yesterday there wasn't a qualifying round because there was 5 entries, so it was a straight final. But they were still clocking up times yesterday and practicing those changeovers and things. But yeah, great job there by Team Finland. 12:50.2, incredible stuff. And then we didn't mention New Rowing MT1, People's Republic of China there. They're the 5th team in the men's relay open. They're just coming into their final 150 metres. Team Finland in the women's open, then they're coming into their last 400 metres or so here now. Really great splits as well from them. 1:35, 1:36. They've been sticking to that pretty much all throughout. 50 metres behind them, it is the team from Canada. Not sure they're going to be able to catch them at this stage. There's about 300 metres left here now. And of course, we're seeing on our screen the team from Ukraine. rowers relay forward to victory. They're about 1,000 meters now left to go in this race. Lots of tired bodies there from the Egyptian Rowing Federation that we're seeing on screen. So them just missing out on that podium place there. They were fourth in a time of 13:16.9.
Yeah, it's now down to the line for gold here for Team Finland. Can they do the double, both men's and women's here in this endurance relay event? That would be quite special for the Finns, but no surprise, their team's extremely strong on both sides here, and I think inevitable now as we enter the final 100 metres, the final 15 or so strokes, that will be for Team Finland to clinch gold. Their stroke ratings come right down. They were down at 26 strokes a minute just a second ago, but that final push sees them rocket the rating up 61 strokes a minute to get over the line, an average time of 1:33.1. They finish in 15 minutes and 31 seconds. That is just absolutely outstanding here to get sub 16 for this women's team. Brilliant stuff.